Attention, 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 attention. Come one, come all to Kingdom Exposition 2025, a powerful three-night event from Friday 25th to Sunday 27th April at the Kingdom Life Ministries Millwalk Road, Buxton, opposite Church of God. Our theme, the family, God's original plan to kingdom expansion. Join us 6 p.m. nightly for dynamic ministry from Pastors Vibert Moffat, Pastor Shane Smith, and Reverend Dr. Kathleen Smith. Don't miss this life-changing experience. Kingdom Exposition 2025. See you there.
Down at home decided to watch some TV, listening to the news by Gordon Mosley. I listening to the things that he say he tracking tonight, paying close attention to make sure I hear it right. But when I hear the things that he mentioned on the news, I had to declare them kind of thing got me confused. I hear some things where the ERC noticing, and it convinced me that people ain't learning nothing. We hear so many times about them big name calling, and they say me ERC pretend that they didn't learn nothing. But once you're black and you just decide to say a word or two, bet your life on that, they say me ERC coming for you. Listen to the things you just hear on social media. Only one set of people allowed to talk in one Guyana. I still say nothing, black people in learning. But this is my concern. I hope one day black people will learn. ERC that I would like to know, if any of its members happens to be black people, and if that is the case, I want them to answer this call. Tell me how come none of them ain't got no voice at all. You're showing signs of weakness and you're afraid to be fair, and we see the same thing happening year after year. And the day will come when all this nonsense will stop. That will be the day when black people decide to wake up. Not so long ago, something terrible happened. This young Indian man want to kill out all black people by poison. But if his shoes was on the other foot, would have been a big threat. But up to this day, this ERC can do nothing as yet. How come it's only black people committing cybercrime? When pretty on social media fussing people all the time, I still saying black people in learning. But one day will come when the entire table will turn. excuse we see they fail to condemn, because these people think that the law is only for them. And anybody else who decide to file a complaint, they go call you a racist and don't want to hear nothing. Plenty complaint from time to time has been brought to their attention, but because of this one-sided cybercrime is why they don't show any concern. There's only one set of people that they really care about, and black people must take the abuse and shut them out. Kidaki Amsterdam went to court just recently for an issue that was highlighted by the same ERC. And with breakneck speed, the police decide to jump on his case without a search warrant event and search up the man's place. Let us all agree that black people under attack. Different laws for you and me just because we black. I still singing. Black people in London. To all my black friends, we must put a stop to all this nonsense. Cybercrime laws to keep people silent, just to make sure nobody criticizes this government. And while that is a very clear case of dictatorship, it is no surprise that the ERC ignoring it. Why only the chosen few is allowed to have things their way, when people like me and you must have nothing to say? And when ministers in the government start to launch their attack, you never hear this ERC come out and talk about that. They send a policeman all the way to New York. This fella went up there to serve a cold someone on Rick Fallback. Under this thing, this government decide to fabricate a case, but like they forget the warning they get from Black T-shirt jails. The vice president described that he use as a low life. Because of this kind of abuse, he don't have a wife. I still singing. Black people in learning. Just the other day, I would a man see help is on the way.
All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxton, and we are here to talk about all that's going on up here. Trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongue, you're looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. Listen, I'll be having some just now again. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned. The decor is on point. The music's on point. Everything's on point. It's just me. I need some work. But everything else that belongs to this club here is on point. So if you want to find a nice little place where you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out. You know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. This is Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely needed too. Thank you. All right, so you might be wondering where we are. Still in Buxton at Club Twilight. That's where we are. So Club Twilight also has like an Airbnb as well. So you could come, drink, drunk, and come in the back here and lie down. Look at that. Look at that. Perfection. And the people come in the room and so on. The bed sheet matching the blind, matching the carpet, matching the this, matching the that. We know but we things in Buxton don't play with we. So definitely if you want to come and you know you may be having a wedding or whatever and you just want to overnight and just have a good time because you're going to be drunk. We got too much road accidents. So you definitely want to come drink, have a good time. They have several rooms that you can rent. You have your toilet, you have your bath, you have your sink, you have your dining area, you have the bed. This is nice. I like it. Anyways, to my friends and my family, if you're looking for me, I'll be overnighting. Also for those persons who are traveling in from overseas, you want a nice, cozy place out of town, then Club Twilight, call them up, look them up on social media. They have their own Facebook page and ensure that you come up the side and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's it.
Don't be a victim. Beat the heat with EC crystals. Party ice in large and small quantities. Call 682-7981 or visit us at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. EC crystals, pure party ice.
She said, take it easy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, take it easy, I will do the work. You don't have to.
Stop running around like headless chicken. Go to Ashton's Marketplace for whole and cut chicken, beef, pork, processed meats like bacon, beef franks, smoked ham, ground pork, calabresa, and lots more. Ashton's offers wholesale and retail. Check them out. Call 613-2332 or WhatsApp 434-327-3955. Ashton's Marketplace at 72 Rob Street, Border. Are you hosting an event? Do you need ice, party ice in large or small quantities? Then call us at 622-5933 for the best party ice available. $1,000 per bag. We do delivery. EC Crystals, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Call to have your orders filled today. Planning a party? Worry no more. We have all the supplies you need. At EC Party Rentals, we have folding chairs, folding tables, square tables, round tables, long tables, short tables, big tables. We have chairs, red chairs, gold chairs, white chairs, crystal chairs, chairs of all type, throne chairs. What you want, we have. Food warmers, coolers, ice, beverages. At EC Party Rentals, we have what you need to have a good time. You plan the party, we do the work. Call us 622-5933. EC Party Rentals. Let's keep your party going.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T and W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T and W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
Are you looking for tents to rent? Well, look no further. At Easy Party Rentals, Sideline and Boxer North, we have tents in all sizes and colors. All sizes of tents we have. Small tents, big tents, medium tents, extra large tents. Call us on 622-5933. We have what you need. Easy Party Rentals. Big on tents. Attention, attention. Attention, attention. Come one, come all to Kingdom Exposition 2025, a powerful 3-night event from Friday 25th to Sunday 27th April at the Kingdom Life Ministries Middlewalk Road, Buxton, opposite Church of God. Our theme, the family, God's original plan to kingdom expansion. Join us 6 p.m. nightly for dynamic ministry from Pastors Vibert Moffat, Pastor Shane Smith, and Reverend Dr. Kathleen Smith. Don't miss this life-changing experience. Kingdom Exposition 2025. See you there.
United Arab Emirates and United Kingdom.
I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. Together, my comrades, together we're riding Guyana, a country where all find opportunity. So let us begin now to show loyalty to Guyana by showing love and respect for all that it means. My brothers, my sisters,
Papers out the city
cooperation will be forever. It work and play as we live as club Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. When it's like we said, all the rich lands in the interior, our natural resources are there in great quantity. And we will do farming and establish towns by the border. With global food so we could fill out diabetes. My greatest desire is to serve my country, Guyana. And sincerely help Guyana to move along. Our government asks us, and we study hard and we learn the things that will help Guyana to become strong. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. To help develop Guyana the free.
to help develop Guyana the free. Which Guyana are you talking about? Which free Guyana? Huh? Sound check 1, 2. I'm checking my sound. What's happening? Where is it? Which Guyana we developing? Which Guyana the free? I show me it now. Guyana the free. Morning, ever morning. Are you morning? Are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. How you been? How you been? We've been away from one another for a long time. Not since Holy Thursday. You haven't seen me. Yes, but I've been here and I've been looking on and I've been listening, and some people can be streaming, calling me and so on, and we've been having some, quick chats and so on and so forth about issues. I know what's on your mind this morning. I want to know what I'm going to say about all that been happening, resurrection and so on and so forth. The Pope has died. Yeah, the Pope has died. I don't know what to say about the Pope dying, except condolences to all the relatives and friends and followers and what do you call them, servants and congregants and so on and so forth. But the Pope has died. May his soul rest in peace. I hope he finds eternal peace. Sometimes I wonder, what is this papacy about, or papacy and thing about, the Pope this and the Pope that, and the Pope. A man is just a man. That's what I know. But some people take on an aura greater than man. At least so it would appear. But one thing is sure, one thing is certain. Regardless of whether you're the Pope, you're the president, you're the king, one thing is certain. All of us are going to that same place. And usually with the same measurements. Usually with the same measurements. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, all of us are entitled to a spot below the earth. From dust you came, and to dust you shall return. Right? Yes, from dust you came, and to dust you shall return. What is the story? What are you going to do? What you're going to do? And I'm saying these things and I'm reflecting on them because I want you also to reflect on these things. Regardless of how big and important you tell yourself you be, regardless of how popular and famous or infamous you tell yourself you be, regardless of how domineering you think you are and so on, your day gonna come. Your day gonna come. The question is, should you be preparing for that day? Right? And how can you prepare for that day? You see me, I got one simple principle. I do unto others as I think they will do to me. Right? So I got no worries when they do it. I say, I want to do the same thing too. So if the man get it first, jump, please take it. Nevertheless, how was Easter and so on and so forth? I hope a lot of you reflected on the story of Easter because, it's a story. I think we all have been told stories as youngsters, and we are still being told stories as adults. Some stories are believable, others are not. But the old people said they, believe the cure and believe the skill. Whatever your belief is, I respect that. You must know if it can cure or kill you, right? Good. But when we look around our society, we got to ask what some people really believe. What do some people believe? Oh, by the way, let me tell you, in another 40 minutes, I'm getting up from here. I'm heading out to court. Today is my court date. Yes, I'm appearing in front of Magistrate Azor this morning. So, yeah. So, right? 9:30, the case is set for. And in case you are wondering which case that is, you always gone as though Mr. Asa got a whole a case every day of the year or a case every month of the year. I ain't Trump. The case is that one where the caller called in and talked about the heads, getting the heads of certain people in government and so on. And they charged me. So I promoted, whatever the terminology, for people to basically assassinate people, kill people, murder people, weapons. So the case is there. As far as I know, the prosecution has 3 more witnesses, I think, to present, and 1 or 2 of them to recall to the stand. I'm hoping that can be accomplished today, and then, of course, it will move on to the defense stage of the trial. But yeah, so y'all don't think I abandoned y'all, and that is why I came on early. You know, usually I'm not on as yet. I would have been on around 7:30 or so, but I came on early because I want to have that moment with you, so you know why I am, you know, out of here so early and so forth. I got respect for y'all, you know. Some people might think otherwise, but I got respect for y'all. Some of y'all don't show me no respect though, but I got respect for y'all. Right. When I just say I got repeat. Yeah. Because I've been making good trouble. At least that is what I consider good trouble. I've never been a troublesome child or individual. I can tell you, y'all gonna laugh this one. While I was at school, every term, my parents, my mother, was sure of seeing one thing on my report. I challenge any of you to put one word. It's one word. One word. Put it in the chat. Let me see how well y'all know me. I've been like that since a youth, right? Or should I say I've been like this since a youth. So let me see if y'all know the one word that my teachers used to describe me. Every single term, you can bet and find that word in my report. Every single word. Not pass, man. Not pass. Jillian Somersault said talkative. Who's Jillian? Jillian, you're our classmates or what? Oh, lad. Every single term my report would say has done a fair term's work. Talkative. Has done well. Talkative. Kinaki can do better. Talkative. That is the well, but when I started teaching, I think the one thing I came to realize, you know, why does a child talk? Or some people like to use the term disruptive. No, Dennis, I was never introverted. I am introverted. I have my own introverted aspects of me. But a lot of people would misread me because I am outspoken, right? But I am not easy to, quote unquote, approach strangers and, you know, hug up and love up and so on and so forth. I have to take a detailed and long study view before I even reach out to you. That's how I am. Right. So all those of you who I consider my people and my friends and so on and family now, understand that. It's a journey. It's an introverted in that aspect, but if you mash my toe or see you doing somebody wrong, I'm likely to talk about it. Right. So I was saying, when I started teaching, when I became an educator per se, you know, I always reflect on why does a child talk so much in class, or as we say, is disruptive in class? That's a failing of the teacher in most cases. Because an exceptional child, and you can be exceptional in a positive or a negative way, an exceptional child, in my case, I think I was exceptional in a positive way. I got my work done, and I got my work done quickly. I used to suck up things or you know, like sponge. I'm a quick learner. And so if the work is not challenging, if you don't have enough stuff out there to keep me occupied, obviously, I finish my work. You ain't give me, you mark my book, I got everything correct. You ain't got nothing to keep me occupied. I can gaff with somebody. Right? Whether they finish their work or not is they got to decide if they got the time to gaff. And so a lot of students get labeled as disruptive, talkative, and stuff like that. Not because I would say they set out to be like that, but because the teachers don't challenge them enough, because the system doesn't challenge them enough, and so on and so forth. Right? And I like a good challenge. I remember when I went to the university first, I did a diploma, and after the diploma, I just said, listen, me go back to the place. The place is an overrated secondary school. They ain't ready for me. And I'm being very serious. And I resisted going back to university for quite a while. But I eventually decided, in this world that we live in, they always wanted to be lettered, according to them. If you're not lettered, you're nobody. If you're not lettered, it's an upward task, and so on and so forth. And so I went and I did what I had to do. And so maybe I'm lettered. I don't even know if I'm lettered or not. But I'm a graduate of the University of Guyana. Right? There are a lot of people who tell, Mr. Sam, why you don't go do your master's? Master's? Who needs a master's? I don't need a master's. Mr. Sam, why you don't go do this? I know I don't need it. What I need now is to give my children, my next generations, the best possibilities, a foundation on which they can stand and succeed. At my age, I ain't want no masters. I don't choose a path. My path is business. My path is politics. And if the two, what's the word we use here, intersect, so be it. Right? If the two intersect, so be it. But I ain't got nobody in telling me going class and say don't go no masters. I get them young people the masters if they need it. Right? I'm just being real. But yeah, most times when you find children being disruptive and so on and so forth, is that the system doesn't really challenge them. I can tell you that. Good. So, but I used to get that ever so often, talkative. As a matter of fact, I was so argumentative also that everybody thought I was going to be a lawyer. My mother and everybody else came to this position that this boy argumentative, this boy don't learn nothing less, and so this boy I'm going to be a lawyer. I guess I get closest to being a lawyer. I'm a political activist. We like to talk and argue, right? But back to the issue at hand. All of those are issues in our society that we have to address in I deal with some things lightheartedly. I noticed the funerals, or the funeral of the two men killed in Linden. Took place. I noticed the aftermath of that funeral. I think there are additional fallouts from that. And I usually ask myself whether it is that we are so callous in this society that we don't even think before we act. Are we that carefree that we don't think before we act? Because what that funeral has shown is that all we are doing is continue to create chaos. Let me call it that. Nobody is being the bigger one and trying to, quote unquote, de-escalate the situation. Everybody is just, everybody is taking actions that are aggravating the situation. So police shoot a young man, community came out and they protested and the police shot another one. How will that bring peace? How will that de-escalate the situation? Funeral day comes, the mourners and so on. A natural part of the journey to the burial ground, as far as I understand, to the cemetery, is past the police station. The mourners are passing the police station in their hundreds or scores, let me say that. And some of them decide, to give vent to the emotions and rock the police gate and so on and so forth. And what the police do? Tear gas. Who is the bigger head? Who's smart? Who's the smarter person? Where is the act of trying to de-escalate. For me, and I asked the question yesterday, was it out of fear or force that the police chose to react in that manner? Was it fear or force? Because if you're trained and you're properly trained, then I would believe that what you should have done is take up quote unquote strategic positions and watch. And don't react unless you are on a real serious threat. And that is the issue in this country. Anybody, as a matter of fact, with a gun in hand, believes that they're like God, they could do as they like. They're all powerful. Anybody with authority believes that he or she is all powerful. We ain't got reason no more. We ain't got reason anymore. We just got to react. What about taking up strategic positions and waiting, watching and waiting? I, as an educator and the head of my educational institution back in time, community college, used to tell my teachers, because when the children, quote unquote, pissed them off, they used to get all flustered and all up in their feelings and so on. And so I used to tell them, I even used to tell my daughter that, right? I used to tell my daughter that because my adopted son used to torment the hell out of her because he knows where her triggers are. And, you know, I had to put her to sit and just like my staff and so I say, listen, in this life, if you allow others to control your emotions, you're doomed. You're dead. Because they will trigger you every time they want to see you behave in a certain way. You have to understand that you must be in control of you. On this program, when I get quote unquote vexed, it's because I choose to get vexed. I would be angry and you wouldn't even recognize, at least not by me saying and behaving in a certain way, that I'm angry. And as professionals, the police, in this instance I'm talking about, have to be taught to and have to learn to be in control. Be in control. Of their emotions and situations. They have to understand how to contain situations. They have to understand how to de-escalate situations. But every time you see the police act in this country, you want to know if it's a set of mad people, brainless. But then what? I stop and I reflect and say, you know what? It highlights the level of functional illiteracy in the society. It highlights the level of functional illiteracy in the society. Our people, the Jennings report so long ago indicated that Ghana had a functional illiterate of 89%. And I don't know that has changed. If you ask me, I think it has gotten worse. I think it has gotten worse with the No Child Left Behind and all these quasi-interventions that just keep failing up, just keep screwing up the education system and so on. I think we are in a worse state of functional illiteracy. And as the computer people will tell you, go garbage in, garbage out. If you hire people who are, for the greater part, functional illiterates, and they're led by functional illiterates, and let me repeat, they are led by functional illiterates, then you're going to have behavior like we're seeing right now in the society when it comes to law enforcement. The other thing I hasten to point out is when you look at who shot who and who killed who, you're seeing a set of African Guyanese on the front line, killing African Guyanese. But your instructions are not coming from African Guyanese. Their instructions are coming from, for the greater part, Indo-Guyanese. And the instructions are coming from people who might, if to some extent, look like them, but are not necessarily for them. So they might look like them, but ain't thinking for them. And so many are quick to say it's black on black violence, but where is the instruction coming from? Where is the tacit support? Where's the tacit support coming from for this black on black violence? And case in point, and I will always make this case. In Guyana 2025, we have a quote unquote African Guyanese, a black man as Minister of Home Affairs. And when issues arise in communities that are predominantly occupied by people looking like this black man, this African Guyanese, they're confronted with brute force and arrogance. Compared to in 2020 when you had an Home Affairs Minister that was Indo-Guyanese. And when communities that predominantly looked like him, the residents were assaulting African Guyanese police for the greater part. The instructions were, you are to go there unarmed. Go there unarmed. You must not confront what is confronting you, the violence that you've been confronted with arms. And so you're caught in this web. Is the state selective in protecting its people? Or the people will get protected in this society are dependent not on the laws of the country, not on the standard operating procedures in the country, but on who heads the Ministry of Home Affairs in this instance. And so since we are not functioning as a society based on laws and procedures and so on and so forth, policies and so on and so forth, every ethnic group wants to be in charge. Every ethnic group wants to be in charge because they see it as the only way of protecting their own or protecting themselves. And that's a serious situation we are in. Then Champagne is asking what are the qualifications to becoming a police officer? Basic primary education. And links, connection, right? Those things can guarantee you basic primary education and connections. So everybody wants to lead. Every ethnic group wants to be in charge. Because when we're in charge, we can put the others to their place. As a society, we have to do better than that. As a society, we have to do better than that. And so it's 20 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I'm your host, Kidaki Amsterdam, and I'm getting to the elephant in the room. You guys are not going to get the opportunity to call in this morning, I guess. Or should I let me open up the line for the next 20 minutes and let's talk. Because when I get to the elephant in the room, I want us to have a real in-depth discourse on it. So tomorrow, I guess we can talk about the elephant in the room. I know I'm talking about the elephant in the room. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the state of the opposition. Right? I'm talking about the state of the opposition. Caller, you're on. Good morning. Caller, you're on. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you and to all my other black brothers and sisters in Guyana. If it did not open up your line this morning and we got to call 911 emergency room for Flash Garden, because I can't take 3 days, you know. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're being heard.
Thank you very much. Let me mention this here before I say what I wanted to say. As you mentioned the funeral, I saw the funeral in video. But if I was there, now I am responsible for what I said, but not how others interpret it. I would have been a leader there and said, look, let us don't go there. Let us go and bury our dead. Because going there, you will only make more fire. Let me go and bury our dead. Leave them alone. Because they have blood on their hands. We should not even go in front of the police building and try to open the gate and go. For what? What the police can do, what you guys could do. We are there. We're going to bury our dead. I trust God. That is my opinion. I want to mention something. Quick. I'm going to leave the rest for tomorrow. You see Rickford Burke? I watch Rickford Burke. You see, when I watch these guys, is when God wants me to listen to them, look them and listen to them. And when he interviewed Mr. Nigel Hughes, he was laughing and all this thing there, like he's glad. But Mr. Rickford Burke, if you're listening, stop your nonsense. Stop it. I'll give you rest for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. Thank you for being considerate. Yes, we don't have a lot of time, and so we got to ensure everybody who wants to have a seat gets the opportunity to have this. Right? You know, I have my own opinions on how certain matters should be settled. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. There's a time for everything, and so on and so forth. And that is why I say, you know, I have my own principles of living. There's a time for everything. There's a time for burying your dead. And then there's a time for weeping, and there's a time for mourning, and then there's a time for gnashing of teeth. Right? Who teeth gonna be gnashing is another thing. Whose turn it will be to mourn and groan is another thing. Right? Just the other day, I mean, I don't rejoice in these things. But just saying to you guys, I was talking about when my brother was murdered, and the suspects in my brother's murder, and how I feel when I see those people around and so on and so forth. But you know, according to the good book, the heel, the head of the serpent gonna be crushed, you know, by the heel of mankind for the wicked ways, etc., etc. And I looked and I saw that would be a third or fourth generation of one of the suspects being arrested for murder just the other day. Right? And as old people say, you know, the fruit not far from the tree. And so you take that into consideration, and then you say, no surprise there. It's sad, very sad. Youngster, just start living if you ask me. Just start living. But has been arrested for murder. Why? Because those seeds were planted. It's reaping time now. And so I ask myself, when you see, I'm going to tell you a story just now. When you see people behave in a certain way, you ask yourself if they don't think about what's down the line. If this is the seed they're planting, what will the reaping season look like? As I said, I will talk about the elephant in the room tomorrow, perhaps. Tomorrow is Wednesday already. Winston John is, David Hines is on tomorrow, Dr. Hines. But anyhow, we'll get to the elephant in the room. It might be a good conversation to have with him anyhow. So the question is, when call over the line. When the people who say they're representing us are making certain decisions and they're looking down the line to see what the outcome is likely to be, that's a question for all of us to answer. Let me take the call. Call you on.
Good morning. I agree with what Flash Garden said just now there about that funeral. I myself was looking at the funeral. I saw the AFC leader was there, and if we going for bury our dead, let me go and bury our dead in peace, and then we will deal with whatever afterward. And then that wasn't carried out at the funeral. As a leader, as I'm always say, if you're curious about the people of Guyana, you will put your leadership as in front. Then secondly, let me stray away from that a little bit. Then this whole thing with the coalition government and collating with the AFC and so, if the coalition Mr. Nigel used, I would say I put the blame on them. Have the interest of the people of Guyana, and you love the people of Guyana, you want to see a better Guyana for everybody. You wouldn't put your thing on the table that you want 40, 60, and this you want and that you want. No, that shows clearly you don't have the people of Guyana at your heart. You're just curious about yourself and your people in your party. That is my view on that part. If you love Guyana and love the people of Guyana, you don't put your demand on the table. You put the people of Guyana first. That is my point. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for your call, and I certainly subscribe to that thinking. We as leaders, we as activists, we as politicians, we as whatever we want to call ourselves, should at all times put the people first. Right? We should be putting the people first, and so the question I'm asking, I guess I'm with the elephant in the room, even in part. The question I'm asking is, have these intellectuals, I want to give them that benefit, intellectuals, them bright people, they're smart people. But I used to say book sense is not necessarily road sense, right? Have these intellectuals not given thought to what the end result of their actions may very well be? Or have they thought about it? But people like myself, people like me, we ain't too bright, we ain't too smart, so we can't see where they're seeing, have not considered what they've considered. Yeah? I'm just asking that. Because like Mr. Jordan said, if you got a small, I was about to say a small half of the cake, right? If you got a smaller portion of the cake and you continue to divide that portion of the cake, you're going to eventually end up with a minuscule piece each one, right? You're going to end up with a minuscule piece each one. And so, all right, are we satisfied with each of us eating a wafer-thin slice of cake by dividing it up like that? Or will we be better placed if we keep that portion of cake together and try to build on it in whichever way so that it can grow into a larger cake so each gets more? Cake might not be the best example in this instance because when a cake is baked, it's baked. You ain't got no way you're increasing it. Call it on. Caller, you're on. Caller, you're on. Caller, you're muted.
Yes, I'm
Good.
you hearing me?
You were muted,
Hello.
caller.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yes. With the opening remarks that you made when you spoke about the who is in charge of the police Buxtonian. When Ramjitan was there, he made certain that he had things in place to protect his people against the police who are mainly African. But now that that Buxtonian is there, he is not putting things in place to protect his people against the police brutality. And that is something that we should all be talking about. So the funeral, you know, everybody expressed their grief and thing in different ways. And we I wouldn't jump and say they're bad, and I wouldn't jump and say they are good. We all express our griefs in different ways. Sometimes when we finish expressing the grief, like what happened at the funeral, we stop and we look back, and then we say that we should not have done that. But to the minister, there is where we see where Africans in Guyana now have become a set of people who have no one to turn to in the hierarchy of this country. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You know, eventually I had a conversation, or well, it was a conversation on several topics with Elder UC Quano while he was here the other day. And I will eventually piece them together in terms of my necessary edits and so on. And so you'll get to hear his thoughts on a lot of issues in this society. But at the end of the day is, a parable that comes to mind is stone the bottom of a river. Or stone the bottom of a river in an old sun hat. Right? The standard English is stone is at the bottom of the river. It doesn't know how hot the sun is. Interpret that. The stone is at the bottom of a mass of water, so the heat of the sun is not really penetrating it. So it is not feeling, right, the real heat of the sun. And so it doesn't appreciate, it cannot appreciate what those that are above the water are feeling. We'll talk more about that. Caller, caller, you on?
Hello. Hello.
Caller, you are on, and I'm going to repeat for the millionth time. You call the program.
Let me see. I'm very.
Caller, I'm speaking.
I'm very much.
You call the program. There's a protocol, isn't it? Turn your device down. Focus on the call. You can't suck cane and whistle. Especially a morning like this. I said we don't have a lot of time. Everybody wants to talk. And so let's keep it precise, concise, short, to the point. But yeah, you answer the phone, I answer the phone 3 times, 4 times, call you on. But the call is listening to the program. What was I saying? Oh. Stone the bottom of the river in an old sun. Those who are sheltered, those who are in a place of comfort, assuming that at the bottom of the river is comfort from the sun, you're sheltered from the sun, you're kept cool, will never appreciate or cannot appreciate what those who are exposed to the direct rays of the sun are feeling. And so when you see certain decisions being made in this society, that's the part that comes to my mind in many instances. There's another one that said, Crapola, no, you get 2 type water until you walk on the kitchen window. Papa never know he get 2 type water until he walk on the kitchen window. And a lot of these people who are making these decisions, ignorant or apparently ignorant of the pressure that the ordinary man and woman are feeling in this society, will not come to understand that pressure until they themselves are faced with it. What is the likelihood that they will be faced with that pressure? Hardly likely that they will be faced with that pressure. Hardly. Because they are layered up, they're protected, they got things going for them. Right now, I see people tossing around accusation. Is who in the AFC make they going it alone? Is who demanding so much and who demanding less, and who is not in agreement with this and who is not in agreement with that? Good. I don't know who is who and who is doing what, but what I know and I can say for you, a lot of the people who approach this consensus building with stubbornness are people who are quote unquote comfortable in their life. Patterson is what? A quantity surveyor. Patterson doesn't need politics to survive, because a quantity survey is a quantity survey anywhere you go. Patterson doesn't even have to remain in this country to survive. Cameron Ramjatan is a lawyer. The lawyer got politics, at least so we would believe. So Ramjatan should be able to get a client anytime based on his legal astuteness and so on and so forth. I can continue to do that analysis for you, but I guess you get the picture. Call it on.
Morning, Kadaki. I was trying to hold back until tomorrow, but you triggered me by saying something there about consensus candidate. One of the names of a consensus candidate that is being called, hang out over here. Why? Ain't in the mud fighting with the people, and pushing for the people. And we guys, we have to be careful, not because somebody will spend time and speak properly, eloquently, and speaks the Queen's English, you think that that person is the right person. God just trained the person. That's one. Number two, and I've said this before, I'm going to continue to say it until we shut this nonsense down. PPP. People have said to me that we would have been fighting, or we would have been campaigning, or some of our people would have been campaigning for PPP from within our camp. And I'm speaking to those who call themselves social media influencers, activists, or whatever in the diaspora, sitting over here, right, claiming to be on the opposition side, but you are giving the PPP fuel every single day of your life. The new thing that has been pitched out there by one of them is asked, Aubrey, why fight? I know you want to repeat that. Let me shut it down right now. Repeat it. But these people are giving PPP ammunition to continue to destroy us. They are fighting so hard for it against one man. They don't come up with issues. Like when you come and talk about issues and educate people, what they are doing, they're out there fighting our people from within. Only one of them here in foreign stands up and about repeating him again, really Caesar. He is balanced. You take him side. You ain't lighting up. You ain't lighting up. You ain't lighting up. He's fighting for the people. There's a way to talk issues that affects the people. Instead of us using that negative energy every single day on your life, multiple times per day on your life, cussing out and trying to disparage this man, discredit that one man. use that energy and create a solution that will help our people, because you're a part of the goddamn problem if you continue doing that. All of them that I have to say. And I'm sorry, y'all are terrible set of black people. I won't even say Africans. Terrible set of black people. Y'all worry. Master House, when things be going down. Y'all don't see. Y'all go with a set of fancy words over here just to destroy our people. We have to stay focused. This fight is about our young ones coming up. Let us stay focused. And every time they have the house attack, we got to get rid of people. Those detractors. And y'all know.
Thank you for your take. It's 2 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. It's time for me to get out of here, or at least start to prepare to get out of here. I am due in the Georgetown Magistrates Court 3 at 9:30. But if you see the level of congestion that takes place on the East Coast Road these days, then you will appreciate that I have to leave ahead of time to get there. You know, I sometimes this country, I see this country as a joke. I'll tell you why just now. Yes, less than half a mile, right? Let me see how I do this. This is 0.4. Yes, 0.4 times 12. Yes, Buxton is 12 miles from Georgetown. Yes, Buxton is 12 miles from Georgetown. Right? Good. That makes it 19 km. So Buxton is 19 km from Georgetown. And to get to Georgetown, with the level of congestion they will get on the road, as I like to say, is blues, because 19 miles, you have 19 miles and you're traveling 19 km and you're traveling 65 km, let's say 65 km or even 50 km per hour. You're supposed to get it in minutes. Right? But not in this country. In this country, it will take you hours. Good? It will take you a whole lot of hours. 18 minutes, 19 minutes is based on AI and Google calculation. It's supposed to take about 19 minutes to get to Georgetown. But I guarantee you, 19 minutes, 20 minutes, you ain't nowhere close to Georgetown with the congestion on the road.
From Paparina's peace of birth to Corentin's lost sons, your children pledge each faithful heart to guard Guyana's lands, to foil the shock of rude invaders who violate our earth, to cherish and defend forever the state that gave them birth. We'll forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's faith. Freedom or everlasting goal, courage and truth are reign. Unyielding in our strive and never cease. There's strength beyond the sea. The glorious virtue, faith, prosperity, joining the universal search for worldwide community. Your people must surrender and breathe. Then you are quality with comfort, never changing, great nations unity.
Are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. Give me a thumbs up if you could hear me loud and clear. Let me communicate, man. How are you too? How was I last night? Oh gosh, the weather is so cool and calming. You're making joke with the raindrops. Let me find a song for you. It's Wednesday morning, is it? What is it? Raindrops keep falling on my what? Raindrops on my roof, pitter patter, pitter patter. Hey, raindrops keep falling on my head. Yeah.
Why did Amazon send me $20,000?
Shut your mouth now, man, and let people music play with your problem. Not always.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like
Ooh la
the
la.
guy's feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. I can't play all of it. My program is going to get, you know what? My program is going to get, you know what? Yeah, Facebook blocks my program in certain territories because they don't have music rights and so on and so forth. Let me tell you that voting is due to start, if it has not started as yet, in the Guyana Teachers Union elections 2025. You know that the nomination process was opened a while back, I think. And I understand the only person nominated for president is Honorable Member of Parliament, Coretta MacDonald. And so by default, I think you call it that, or walkover in cricket, and so on and so forth, Coretta is likely to be the president of the Guyana Teachers Union. So let me say it ahead of time. I really hope that she shines. But that is not what I'm talking to you about. I'm telling you that elections are going to take place. And these are the steps. If you see the screen here, these are the steps you should be following in elections. First and foremost, the returning officer is going to, or the elections officer, as they say, will deliver the packages of ballots and voters lists to the different schools or the representatives at the different schools. GTO has representatives in each school and members in each school. And so they would have a list of people who are eligible to vote based on membership and so on. And so those packages will be delivered to each school. And then, of course, the representative of those schools will review the list and review the contents of the package, and then delivers the ballots to the members who are there. The members will then, of course, do their thing, vote, right? And return the ballots to the election officer. Good. Now, How is this ballot returned to the elections officer? Some might ask. In outlying regions, the sealed envelopes are returned to the school's representatives, who will take the necessary steps to get them back to the elections officer. If you are in other districts, you are going to put your sealed envelope, put your ballots back into the envelope, seal it, and go to the post office and mail it basically to box number 10360. 10360. Right? It's a PMB, post office mailbox. So you put your ballot there, take it to the post office, and mail it to that number, that post office box number. And step 7, the elections officer, in the presence of scrutineers, will remove those ballots from the PO box and place them for counting. Right? So I should say it looks like a simple and credible process. So all those of you who are clamoring for change at the Guyana Teachers Union in terms of leadership, you have the opportunity to make that leadership happen, that change happen. I don't see Mark like featuring any place there right now, but that's the reality. Elections 2025, the envelope package will contain a list of names of GTU members who should receive a ballot, an envelope with ballot for each member to vote and return, and the flyer outlining the voting process. And this information is coming from the Office of the Elections Officer. I'm not allowed to tell you who the elections officer is. Teachers should know who the elections officer is. Good. And so let me come to we business now. Y'all want to know business. Y'all want to know business. According to some people, y'all up on Facebook, so y'all want to know business. But the numbers look a little low this morning, so start sharing the live. Please and thank you. Share the live. Share the live. Thank you. I will go to advertisement while I wait for you to share the live. It's not good? Please do that. Share the live. Let's share the live. Thank you. Please share the live.
Attention, attention. Attention, attention. Come one, come all to Kingdom Exposition 2025. A powerful 3-night event from Friday 25th to Sunday 27th April at the Kingdom Life Ministries Millwalk Road, Buxton, opposite Church of God. Our theme, the family, God's original plan, the kingdom expansion. Join us 6 p.m. nightly for dynamic ministry from Pastors Vibert Mafat, Pastor Shane Smith, and Reverend Dr. Kathleen Smith. Don't miss this life-changing experience. Kingdom Exposition 2025. See you there.
I will see you there. Kingdom Exposition 2025 starting this Friday and going until what, Sunday? Good. Yeah, so those of you who want to know what went on yesterday, I call it, no disrespect to the court. Tremendous respect to my attorney. I think I had some good comic relief yesterday in court. You had to be there to believe it. Let me say that. You really had to be there. You know, some people say you have to see it to believe it. Yeah, you have to be there to see it to believe it. In short, up until now, the specialist witness of the police, ASP Gerard Coolen, who came to my gate and claimed he had a warrant and arrested me and so on and so forth, can't tell the court why I was really arrested. Can't, because that's my interpretation, because he can't tell the court up to now what he was investigating. Can't tell the court what he was investigating. A video was referred to the police by the ERC, and he viewed the video and they proceeded to arrest me. What in this video caused you to arrest this man? Because the ERC said this video is promoting racial division, etc., etc. All right, this is what they say. What part of the based on the part of the video that you are referring to the court, that's the part where the caller made the comments. What crime took place? If a crime took place, who committed the crime? Did Mr. Amsterdam agree with anything that was said by this person who made this call? No. Did Mr. Amsterdam, according to my attorney, adapt any of the language used by the caller? No. So who really should be before the court? I'm asking that question now. Who really should be before the court? Did the police make an effort to find out who the caller is? No. Were you able to determine who the caller is? No. Were you able to determine where the call came from? No. And I'm making it simple for you, right? Because if you are in code, then you would see why I say it was comic relief. A man standing on the standing contorting himself, twisting and turning to answer simple questions. And so at the end of the day, you really ask the question, or you come to conclude why we are in the terrorist state we are in when it comes to law enforcement. The long and short is they say they have another witness who's supposed to be some cadet officer. I think Heinz is the name. And so the case continues on the 28th of May. We will look at what happens on the 28th of May. So that's your update. That's your update. I hope I haven't disrespected the court in any way. That's it. That's it. Right? So let's get to our usual regular line of business. Yesterday we started talking, but I said to you, we will be talking about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is that recent announcement that the AFC, the Alliance of Change, is going to go to the elections alone. A lot of Guyanese, especially African Guyanese, were anxiously awaiting an announcement that would say that the AFC is going to coalesce with the PNC and contest the elections together. That were not to be so. It never happened. Instead, we had this announcement that the AFC decided that, well, the AFC announced that the talks fell through, and so they will go to elections alone. It came to me as no surprise. I will tell you, it came to me as no surprise. And a lot of other people were not surprised by that announcement because, as we say, if you know, you know. But if you know, you know. But a lot of Guyanese, especially African Guyanese, are hurt. And are hurting because of that announcement. And let me take you back a few years ago to why people are hurting. Leading up to 2011, the PNC were consistently kept out of power, consistently kept out of office by the PPP with claims of electoral victory, whether fraudulent or otherwise. The PNC at that time, as far as I know, at one point could have only garnered, according to the election results, about 34% of the votes. Good. The PNC was going it alone then. I think it had tried some other formations. We had actually ended up with a PNCR, PNC Reform, where Stanley Ming, among others, I think had become members of civil society, had become part of the whole grouping to contest the elections and so on, if I remember clearly. But they still were not able to, quote unquote, put a dent in the PNC. But then came along this brilliant idea, worked on extensively, and eventually realized by the WPA through report with Ryan Desmond Trotman and others, and Robert Corbyn and his team. And they came up with a APNU, a Partnership for National Unity. Political pundits, I dare argue, were definitely taken aback that the Working People's Alliance coalesced with the PNC because, as we say, they were arch rivals, they were arch enemies. The PNC is alleged to have killed the leader of the Working People's Alliance, Walter Rodney. Some people argue with me or be angry with me for saying alleged to have. Some people would expect me to say, point frankly, the PNC killed Walter Rodney. Good. And so, like I said on this program, anybody who kill any relative of mine, I really don't see them in friendly terms. Any associate of mine, I don't see them in friendly terms. And so, naturally, nobody expected the WPA to join with the PNC. But sometimes the politics moves or has to move from the personal to the national. And in the interest of saving this country, I dare argue, in the interest of saving this country from the PPP, the WPA recognized the importance of joining with the PNC. And the first outing, as we call it, after the formation of APNU, you see immediately an improvement in the performance of the PNC elections because the APNU was able to improve on their showing. And if I'm not mistaken, it was that year that the Donald Ramata government was a minority government. So you had a minority government resulting from that. And then Ramata refused, of course, to play ball as a minority president. He prorogued parliament. And having prorogued parliament, we went on early elections. And so before that elections took place, the 2015 elections, the AFC was courted. Remember, the AFC came out of a group of people who were disenchanted with their political parties, let's say. It's a mixture of PNC people, a mixture of AFC people. And let me tell you this in case you didn't know. Sheila Holder, who was integral to the formation of the AFC, at the time represented the WPA in Parliament. Right? At the time, represented the WPA in Parliament. Well, Scott, we're not going to go down the road of arguing whether Bonham had anything to do with Rodney killing and so on. For me, I passed that watershed. Ghana has to move on, not to forget. But arguing who killed Walter Rodney now is not going to take us out of the current situation we are in with the PPP. So please, I ain't got time, energy, and strength for that argument. Right? We're talking about it now. Right? But I would say at that time, good sense prevailed, and the AFC joined with the Partnership for National Unity, and the rest was history. The PPP lost the 2015 election. PPP lost the 2015 election, and the coalition was in office until 2020. Not effectively for 5 years, but I would say effectively for about 2.5 to 3 years, because right in the middle of their term, you had a no confidence saga. Chandas voting against his government in a no confidence vote. And so the PNC, the coalition, the APNU, AFC sat there for about 2 to 2.5 years, as we say, as a lame duck government. They couldn't do much. They couldn't do not much. They fought tooth and nail, if you ask me, to hang on to the end. They achieved, I would say, hanging on to the end, but it came at a cost. We call it, Pyrrhic victory. So at the end of the day, they lost the election. But Guyanese was given hope. Guyanese were given hope in two instances. Professor David Hines always tells us about how the people in Ithaca, I think, definitely West Borbies, Belladromitica, wherever they are, when they saw, when himself and Rupert visited the community, all the people cried tears. And they were tears of joy. Thank God we don't have to choose now between Bornum Party and Guyana Party. These are African Guyanese. And so they're saying, listen, we are grateful, we are so happy that this unity, this marriage is taking place, because it was dividing the African Guyanese community. And now that you guys have decided to coalesce, you have done a great thing to bring us together, bring us back to the fore. We ain't have a fight over who love Guyana and who love Bornum and who hate Guyana and who hate Bornum. We are now under the one umbrella, and we're happy for that. We know that come election morning, we're going to walk in there, we're going to vote for APNU. That was in the first instance. And so they had hope, and that is why the showing of the APNU, or the PNC, if you want to call it that, improved at those elections. And then came along the AFC. And the showing got even better to the extent that now the PPP lost the election. Unfortunately, very much so, unfortunately, a man who went into the National Assembly based on people's trust and people's vote for a political slate that he was part of, decided to hell was the people. The hell was the people. I am going to vote against this government because I don't like what this government is doing. At least that is what he claimed. Didn't give the government the opportunity to work, because no government can get into office and in 3 years turn things around. At least not in this Guyanese society, as broken as it is and as broken as it was. Any government would have needed time to settle in and really address the issues, because they were now dealing with issues that they didn't even know existed. Remember, the PPP was there for, well, a very long period, 23 years, I think, at that time. Right? And so the coalition government wasn't given time to work. Charandas voted and brought down the government. I hear a lot of people saying, the AFC is taking the position it's taking now, that it's not going to go to a coalition because it was mistreated or maltreated in the previous coalition. I will sit here and I'll tell you straight up, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Because from where I sat, and the things I know, perhaps, I'll say that the AFC was given so much leverage that the AFC was a danger to the coalition government. Listen to the accusations and allegations and scandals against the coalition government, and examine who the people were and where they came from. Charandas's argument, one of Charandas's argument for voting against the coalition government was that the government mistreated and maltreated the Gaisuku workers. What the society doesn't know, perhaps, is that it was the AFC. Remember, the AFC had the Ministry of Agriculture. Noel Ola, good morning, sir, wherever you are. it was the AFC that went against the advice of Professor Clive Thomas and dealt with the sugar industry the way they dealt with it. I'm saying that no. And it is not out of malice. It is out of educating the public. The AFC controls some of the most powerful ministries in the last government, the last coalition government. Check it. And when I say powerful, I'm talking about ministries where real resources are managed and spent. Ministry of Public Works. Money always there in the ministry. As we might say, money always there for making the ministry. Spend and make. Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs basically controlled the armed forces in the society. That is the responsibility of the, Ministry of Home Affairs. And anybody who controls that in any government is a damn powerhouse. So you're controlling the big money ministry in that you're controlling public service, public infrastructure, and you're controlling forces in that you're controlling security. You're controlling agriculture. If used correctly, the agriculture ministry has access to, I would say, the PPP vote farms. And if used correctly, it could have made a serious inroad into the PPP vote farms or voting block. But I can tell you, because I covered the Ministry of Agriculture, well, there wasn't the kind of man who was aggressive in that ministry. Wasn't. And so a lot of opportunities were lost there. Somebody is telling us about Katiat Communications. Prime Minister Moses Nagamotu. The Prime Minister is responsible for public relations, is responsible for information, government information. And one of the criticisms of the coalition government has always been the coalition was too quiet. They never really promoted themselves. They never really kept people abreast as to what they were doing. In as much as they were doing, people continue to say they never do much because people never knew what they were doing, because communication, information was not out there as it ought to be. So don't argue like some people are arguing that AFC was mistreated. The AFC had some powerful ministries and the AFC didn't use them. At least not in the way I think they should have been used. But a bad workman quarrels with his tools. A bad workman quarrels with his tools. And so we ain't going in no coalition because we were mistreated in the previous government. We didn't have our way in the previous government. And so let us examine having your way in previous government or having your way in government. What is the national good? What should be your first priority? For me, the first priority of anybody who loves this country and loves the citizens in this country is to see the backs of the people. And once you're determined to see the backs of the PPP, I will say you will make any sacrifice that is necessary to see the backs of the PPP, even if it means accepting less than you think you deserve. Because that's where the argument is right now. The PPP, the AFC is saying, quite frankly, they deserve more than 40% of whatever the spoils will be. And if they can't get more than 40%, then they're playing ball. And so it is about us, what we want. If we can't get what we want, then the Guyanese people can suffer and suck salt. Unfortunately, the majority of the Guyanese people who suffer and suck salt are African Guyanese. And so in short, the conclusion is, let a black man suffer if we can't get what we want. And because when I look at the AFC leadership and these people are saying this, all of them look well-to-do. I add in another adjective. Let them poor ass black man suffer because we the good. So on their bottom, everybody knows on that. The PPP in government, the PPP out of government, we will still survive and we will still live cushy lives. That's how I see it. Compared to the WPA in 2015, when Rupert Wupnarine was the coalition prime ministerial candidate, in order to get the AFC to join the coalition, the WPA said, listen, we are going to give up the prime ministerial position so that Moses Nagamutu can get it, or so that the AFC can get it, because if that is what it takes to bring them on board, then we will make that ultimate sacrifice to get them on board. And the WPA did exactly that. The WPA stepped aside from the prime ministerial position. The AFC agreed to come on board. Moses Nagamoto became the prime minister. The WPA did not even negotiate to be a vice president in exchange for giving up that prime ministerial position. They didn't negotiate for anything, quite frankly. And so they had a sole minister in government. The person who was supposed to be prime minister became the education minister. And the rest is history with that too. But I'm saying these things so you can recognize sacrifice and genuineness and wanting to free this country of the PPP and wanting to see people have some freedom, economic and otherwise, in this society. The WPA, obviously, in my mind, comes miles ahead, comes out miles ahead of the FC and the selfishness, because that is what it is, selfishness. They got negotiation and they got bargain. But sometimes you have to be realistic. It's not a situation where the PNC and the AFC are the only two parties that are expected to be under this big umbrella to contest this election and will successfully win the PPP. There are other political parties who are expected to join that coalition to bring their two-bit to this grand coalition to make things happen to put the PPP out of power. But no, we want 40%. You could take, well, we want more than 40. And wherever you get, you're going to decide how you're going to work with the others and share that. That's not a national position. That's not nationalistic at all. And let me say this to you. Let me say this to you, and this is from my heart, as we say, the bottom of my heart. I personally don't think that the AFC has an attraction among Guyanese as the WPA has. Especially African Guyanese. And why? African Guyanese have felt betrayed by the AFC. African Guyanese, I'm repeating it, have felt betrayed by the AFC. They might look like they're all right, they're comfortable and everything good with them and the AFC, but African Guyanese are not likely to go to the polls and vote for the AFC in any large numbers because they are of the firm opinion, like I'm of the firm opinion, the AFC brought the coalition government down and therefore did not give the coalition government an opportunity to right the wrongs in this society and deliver to African Guyanese among the other sectors, sections, ethnic groups of the society. And so if the AFC, like they say, are prepared to go it alone, I am guaranteeing, I'm betting, number one, they can't win it alone. Number two, they're not going to attract a whole lot of African Guyanese votes. And so the question comes, will they attract Indo-Guyanese votes? And I'm arguing that they're not likely to attract a lot of Indo-Guyanese votes because even in the 2020 elections, maybe even in the 2015 elections, if you do the analysis, you will recognize that even in WIM, where the prime ministerial candidate came from, the number of votes that came from that area for the coalition were minuscule, was a minuscule number, it is small. Check the area where Prakash come from. Prakash is Ramjatan. And you will see that there was no big groundswell of support for the coalition from that area. And so I'm arguing that if you look at it historically, they have not really attracted a lot of Indo-Guyanese votes. Most of the AFC support was coming from Afro-Guyanese and maybe Amerindians. And now that Afro-Guyanese have felt betrayed by the AFC, the likelihood is that way fewer votes will come from that block of voters for the AFC. And so the AFC basically taking the chances, hoping to get Amerindian Guyanese votes. And Amerindian Guyanese votes alone cannot make the AFC win any election in this country. It might result in a minority government because some of our information, when you look at the census, you can argue. You can argue basically that the PNC or the opposition and the government, PNC and PPP, are almost toe-to-toe. And the opposition has the advantage because when you look at the numbers of pure Indo-Guyanese, pure Afro-Guyanese, they're very close. But then when you look at that number that identify themselves as mixed, it's a lot. And most mixed people identify as African Guyanese in this country. And that's why you ain't getting no census figure, but me ain't gonna argue though. But we know what we know. We know what we know. And so my position is simple. The AFC wants to go it alone, let the AFC go it alone. African Guyanese must be determined in their minds that the AFC will not get one single vote from them. I love Nigel Hughes. I have tremendous respect for Nigel Hughes. I hinted at it and I'm saying it publicly today. I am of the firm belief Nigel Hughes is not the problem in the AFC in terms of coalition. I would be quite surprised if I were to learn that Nigel Hughes is a problem in terms of coalition in the AFC, because I see Nigel Hughes as one of those persons who recognize the quote-unquote struggle and fight of the African man in this society. He has been fighting alongside us all the time as an African man, and therefore he recognizes what is good and what is bad for us in this period. And since he recognizes that, I don't believe that Nigeria will take such a hard and fast position, recognizing that coalition is the only way that we can firmly have a chance of removing the PPP from office. I don't believe Nigel Hughes is a problem. But as leader of the party, you got to take instruction from his membership and leadership and so on and so forth. You gotta follow the line, follow the script, so be it. Ensure, even with Nigel use at the end of the AFC, not one single African Guyanese vote goes to them. And then you will see what they really are worth. Then they will come to the reality of what they really are worth. I have another theory. I know what my theory is. If the opposition wants to win this election, if the opposition really wants to consolidate the votes of African Guyanese and give the PPP a real run for their money, Norton as president, David Hines as prime minister. I believe that is an uncontestable ticket when it comes to black people votes in this country. David Hines and Aubrey Norton on the same ticket, prime minister and president. That's my belief. If you have that same belief, we can talk about it. But I will tell you this also. We have adopted what I consider a stupid position in this country. We like window dressing. We love window dressing, and it's that love for window dressing that has us talking about crossover votes. Right? Crossover votes. And in order to attract crossover votes, if you have an Indian presidential candidate, you must have an African prime ministerial candidate. And if you have an African presidential candidate, you must have an Indian prime ministerial candidate. I am saying the PPP started that foolishness because the PPP wanted to deceive African Guyanese to believe that they really have representation in the racist government for black people. But go back into history again. Not one single African Guyanese who has been on the prime ministerial ticket for the PPP has been allowed to become president and function as president. Even when Jack Joe did, even when Janet did. So it was window dressing all along, and it still continues to be window dressing. Sam Hines didn't got no say. Mark Phillips definitely ain't got no say. The lady, I think she's Elizabeth, she would not have gotten any say too. So the PPP adopted this window dressing tactic to appease African Guyanese. And now our leaders have adopted and taken the same window dressing tactic to appease Indo-Guyanese. When the history of this country has really shown that regardless of what you do, you're not attracting any major number of votes from the PPP or any major number of votes from Indo-Guyanese. Now I'm saying this. Aubrey Norton as president, David Hines as prime minister, consolidating African Guyanese votes doesn't mean that we're not catering to and we're not considering the importance of other ethnic groups in this country. They can be catered to as vice presidents. They can be catered to in critical positions of the government. And so everybody loves Ganesh Maipal. Aubrey Norton as president, David Hines as prime minister, Ganesh Maipal as a vice president. I've heard the name of this girl mentioned, I think in the negotiation. I can't remember where I heard it, but I think they said when they were talking about consensus candidate and so on, it was proposed that, listen, we ain't giving AFC no presidential candidate. We're willing to give Ms. Finance, the shadow minister for finance, if I remember clearly, prime ministerial position. So make her another vice president too. So you got an Indo-Guyanese vice president, you got an Amerindian-Guyanese vice president, assuming that Jaretta is Amerindian Guyanese and not Portuguese. I don't know. I think she's more Amerindian. And therefore, you will have an Amerindian and female representative as a vice president. You will have an Indo-Guyanese male as a vice president. So you have two vice presidents that are not of the same ethnicity and from the same ethnic group of the president and the prime minister. Because as far as I'm saying, my position is, don't worry, put your eggs in this basket about crossover votes. The first thing you have to do is consolidate the votes of the African Guyanese. And if you want to consolidate the votes of the African Guyanese, I think the best way to do that is to put David Hines and Aubrey Norton at the head of that ticket. I'm saying you do that. If you do that, black people ain't got time for vote EFC. Because black people gonna see where the representation is for black people. They ain't got time for vote EFC. And that's my formula for shutting out the AFC. Who doesn't want to be in a coalition anyhow? Y'all want blow in the wind? Blow in the wind. We closing the gates. But I'll tell you, like I always say, I ain't a political scientist. I ain't a doctor. I ain't a lawyer. I ain't a bourgeois. I'm from Buxton background side. And so who got time with what I think? Who got time with my opinion? This boy Wiley loud and wrong all the time. Anytime you put them two black brothers at the top of the ticket, you know much people going to turn away from the opposition? Because the Indo-Guyanese going to say they ain't got no representation and the Amerindian-Guyanese going to say they ain't got no representation. I just get them representation in two vice presidents, Ganesh Maipal and this girl Finance. Or whoever they want to propose, because I don't know who's sitting where. And they got players to share up to. And that's one of the things I'm going to tell y'all. The opposition, especially PNC and the WPA, we got to start learning to quote-unquote poach members from other parties. WPA got this self-righteous way. They don't try to poach anybody from anywhere, but somebody always trying to poach members from their party. Why you think Parliament? Granger decide, listen, Tabitha Sarabo Hali is going to be a good foot soldier for me, and I'm going to take her and put her in Parliament regardless of what the WPA think. Because once I put her in Parliament, she will be endeared to me. And so, whoops, Tabitha Sarabo Ali is out of the WPA and she's in Parliament. Sheila Holder was sitting on the WPA seat when she, with Raphael Trotman and Prakash and all of them, decide they're going to form the FC. So why can't we as WPA poach other people? And we invite Sherrod over. Come, Sherrod, come join the WPA. We're going to ensure you get a seat at the table. You want minister information? Well, minister information technically is the prime minister's responsibility. You want run the government communication services? We got them for you too. Remember the coalition government? Sherrod was a Guyana Chronicle. Come, Sherrod. It might be difficult to get a squeeze in the PNC, but WPA got space here. Come, man. I'm making the representation. I can tell them I took it upon myself to invite you. And since I invite you, you're my guest. They can't throw you. Right? I mean, I might sound lighthearted, but we have to shake up the apple cart. We gotta want it bad enough. And sometimes I sit back and ask myself, wait, man, people are not seeing the WPA. People don't see what we're doing. People don't recognize the genuineness of our efforts to, quote unquote, save this society. I saw a woman write a letter the other day about her proposal for consensus candidate and who will get this position and that position and the other position. Not once did they name Dr. David Hines, Professor David Hines featured in that woman's letter. And she's always on David Hines' program. Who need enemies when they got friends like those, right? Everybody's having this discourse. You're hearing, hey, the WPA really got them doing it by the WPA is the only people representing we right now in the society. But when y'all come to discuss power, political power, government power, it's already like nobody don't mention Kidaki Assam, nobody mentioning David Hines, nobody mentioning Takumo Gonse, Diane Abrams, Professor Clive Thomas, and all the rest of us who sit around the WPA executive and they're doing the work and so on. Well, I'm good by tweet. Well, I'm saying this morning, my winning team, at least to the leadership of the coalition, Arby Norton, David Hines, put Ganesh Paul as a vice president, put his girlfriend as if she's willing to come over as a vice president, find a place to put Sherrod, guarantee them they're going to sit around the table. And let me shake up this whole damn thing. Let me rock this boat. We could chase the elephant out of the room. But we first have to be determined in our mind that we are going to consolidate African Guyanese vote. These elections always come to who consolidate the votes, you know. If you get the African Guyanese vote to go in one direction and you get the Indo-Guyanese vote to go in one direction, then the tiebreakers are going to be the Amerindo-Guyanese for the most part and the mixed Guyanese. And like I said, from the census, mixed Guyanese are a very big number in this society. And most mixed people in this society identify with their Africanness. And so I am betting on that. I am betting on that. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. It is now 8 hours 16. And give me an early time to talk so we can examine this elephant in the room adequately. 6225933 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. Paulion, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Pleasant good morning, but Daki and to your viewing audience. Just to make my contribution, I completely agree with your suggestion, your point of view and your suggestion. Completely agree with that. I'm one of the persons did not have any hope in the ASC coming up with the solution. And I on a previous program and another platform, I did set my viewpoint with the ESC, right? Because the ESC have always shown signs that they have one foot in and one foot out. They're never completely on board, even when in government. Because even before Charonda's situation, EFC personnel, people in the EFC, they were given certain signals that they're not truly on board, and there's always this feeling that some people in the AFC potentially you understand, and then still get some feelings for the PDP. Because sometimes when they make it speech, I have it before to when Kenny was there, Kenny Station, and they still have some bone to chew with the PDP. So they were never fully on board. But the AFC, after this coalition started to resonate, I thought that the AFC would have realized that they would have let down people in this country. They would have sabotaged the coalition government. And they would have used this opportunity to repay their debt because they sabotaged the coalition government. They let down the Canada issue, the Judas mentality, let down the people of Ghana, coalition supporters. And they should have used this opportunity to say, listen, the oldest people, the person based for things went down, and to use this opportunity to repay their debt. No, but what they're trying to do, they come back with their selfishness and they do that mentality that they want to find and our money. The AFC was born in that what they were a part of the coalition when they bought the coalition and they only remain in parliament. Because they have 12 seats, which I don't believe they are, right? But they were still there. There's the only reason. So what I'm saying, your solution is quite. I think based upon what they have let down the Guyanese yet again, not only with the Canada, and it is true, Canada was the only person that was fitted to be crossed over, but he's the only one was tested. The vote never went farther. It is true, but there were others. And then when we had the government, we had Greater Son-in-law and others, and a few other ministers talking about. So the AFC have now proven beyond the shadow of doubt that they are Judah. They cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted. So there should be a clear shootout between the PNC and the WPA coming with an alliance with the PDP on the other side. And then we have a clear shootout between the African votes and the Indian votes. We have the mixed votes and the Amerindians and probably the ones split up in the middle and let's go with far. Even if the PNC WPA coalition does win the election, they should go it there and then with the election devise a clear and better strategy how to represent African people. And we see now that people are not going to team up with the African people. Some people only window dressing and just face slaving. People don't care about the African people. Right? So that is the formula. A clear shootout between WPA, PSC alliance and the people. All this mixed voting and one guy thing and the other thing. You see the signs of it. People don't care nothing about the African people. So it's time the African people start fooling themselves with people. For people come on this side and just start battling and fight for themselves. There's my question.
Thank you for your call and your contribution. Flash Garden, I call you by name because everybody knows you by name. When I am taking a call, you're not to call this phone. Don't you know the rule? Why are you calling this phone? The lines are now open for you to call. We have voice notes. This is not for them, man. All right, they're short. Which one you really wanted us to play?
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning, all right-minded Guyanese, African, Indians, Chinese, Portuguese. Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, all right-minded Guyanese. My take on. Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning, all right-minded Guyanese. I must put in my 2 bits. When I think about this AFC thing and this APNU should not fight up for collate with them at this time, because remember, that is the party that have us in this situation at this time. And if they had the people at heart or the country at heart, Chandadas, Niger Youth, and all of them would not come together for house the party, throw out the party. And now just think about it. They throw themselves out the government, and now they're fighting the government and want to tell the people to vote for them. These people here good. They could never be thinking it's just greed and bad-mindedness and power. Hungry got them there. They don't have the country at heart nor the people at heart. They're just thinking about their own selfish gain. Also, Niger Youth, I think he's being pushed by Randakan. He's being used as a puppet, and he just makes himself look stupid. Nobody won't vote for them at this time. If you listen around the country and the outer world, people saying they are traitor. And Nathan needs to stop wasting his energy on these people. He have other place to focus his energy. He have the WPA. WPA is solely standing behind them. Just focus on them. And if they have other small parties want to come on board, well, he could have them. But for me, the AFC is a no. It's a no. And I would just want to encourage every Guyanese, make certain you register. Check the list to see your name is on the list, and they write it in you, so when come election day, you don't have to run in all about the place. Encourage your neighbors, encourage your friend, encourage your brother, everybody to come out and register and check for their name. And we need to rally around the APNU and the WPA. Don't worry, AFC, they are a python just waiting to attack. And when they can't get what they want, they strike. And this time the strike going to be more deadly. It's because of them we are punishing. Black people are punishing Indian people are punishing, but black people is feeling the blood. I could remember an Indian woman sent a voice to a friend of mine. And when I listen to this thing, my skin crawl. Jack Dio was saying, when they win the election, the only work black people get is sweeping work and security work and gutter work, nothing else. And that is what we see they're doing. So people wake up.
Thank you for that voice. Now the lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. You see, with that team you have just picked there, you're going to cause Niger Youth, trust me, to call Norton back to the table as soon as possible. You all go for it. Bye.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I am in total agreement with what you have just said about your analogy and recommendation of the political parties and who should be selected as candidates and stuff like that. And on the other hand, with the AFC, I never really understand which side the AFC is on, because to me, I always see them as an Indo political party. I never really see them as a party that really represents black people. So whatever they choose to do, I think it was coming along, and everybody sees and understands what is happening. Okay, thank you.
Call you on. Good morning.
Hello.
Call you are on. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Let me correct that. I did not call when you on your line. I called after you finished talking, and you declined me but 3 times. It's not my phone. Check it.
Calling you were being declined because I was listening to another call that was on the line. Somebody was speaking. I was finished speaking. Somebody had called. I accepted the call. They were speaking. Pay attention for throw out this class.
No, like again, was not my call. I know what I did. Was not my call.
Every time you got declined is because I was taking a call, Mr. Garden. Now make me you get wrong this morning. Get to your point.
No, me, you can't get wrong.
Get to your point, sir. Get to your point.
I need your vote. Me, you cannot
Please
get
to
wrong.
your point.
All right, I wait till Friday. My time is up. I wait till Friday.
Well, so be it. A matter of choice. Life is about choices.
Good morning. I'm so troubled, so bothered, so disappointed in the coalition talks that broke down. Kedaki, I avoid you say, about the selfishness of
Morning,
these
Kadaki. Morning, Mr.
politicians, these people that were on the
Kadaki.
negotiation board to negotiate for the coalition. Let me tell you something. I am so hurt for my children, for the future of this country, because what they are seeing is selfishness. People who have, like you said,
Call hold the line.
nothing they're good in this life.
Hold the line,
Niger
please.
youth, they're good in this life.
You calling for the
David
program?
Patterson, Kemba Jamaican, all these people are
Right,
good.
so hold the line.
So they don't
Enough
really
you.
care about the down to about we down here, because if they care,
Call you on. You're on. Speak.
You hear me now?
Yes, caller.
Yeah, my car is from my phone, right? I bought the diary PN supporters. I never support that diary PN. You hear me now? Yes. Now, concerning AFC, right? We should remember that the AFC was formed by two persons, by Chapman and Cameron Johnson. When the first election in 2006, I believe they get 60, right? Because the PPP members was upset with the PPP, so they decided to vote for them. 2011, right? They get 3 seats or something like that, right? Right? But 2020, the people went back home because why? Because they collate, they collate with the PNC. So the PNC never want to vote the PNC. So what we said, Sharadan is the man that is the boss. And the AFC is Ardent and naive party. Ardent is a selfish party. They know that it's celebrity kind of position, right? And we don't want that. APNU and go with the WPA and like the team the kind of bad team there for that. I'll have a nice day, right, everybody?
Thank you for your call.
Yeah.
Let me explain this to you. I see people saying the AFC believes that they will go with Azzuddin Mohammed and maybe pull it off. I've taken into consideration the Azzuddin Mohammed factor. And that is why I'm saying you want to consolidate black people vote and ensure Azzuddin Mohammed don't get any. Work with the team that I'm proposing. Work with the team that I'm proposing. You're shutting the gates on all those who want to live off of black people votes. Let me call it that. Whether Azzuddin masquerading to cause voter suppression around black people so the PPP could be back in power, or whether Azzuddin is genuinely in contest with the PPP, we need to shut the gates on black people vote going elsewhere. And you avoid my formula. I'm saying that is what will shut the gates on black people vote going elsewhere. And if the likes of Ganesh Paul and Fernandes and Walton Desir and Ford and whoever else are serious about loving the Guyanese people and wanting to see the backs of the PPP, they will get on board on that ticket because it will guarantee them a place in power. It will guarantee them a place in government. Don't tell me that when you split the vote, like Janet, they said, don't split the vote. When you choose to split the vote, you're working for minority government. A minority government is going to leave you right where you are in the opposition with no power. Because we've seen it in the history of this country already. The PPP would rather go back to the election than negotiate with anybody in parliament. I was playing a voice note, and with all fairness, y'all please allow me to continue and finish playing this person's voice note, and then you could call. I'm begging y'all. Which voice note was it? Was it this one? The one in loading. So it's which one? Bear with me. Y'all give me a minute. Oh, it's here. Right, good.
About winning the election, they would collate at all costs. You understand what I mean? But these men just studying who want to be president, who want this position, who want this portfolio. And Jack Dew is right with what he's saying. Jack Dew know that they cannot win the election because all they're studying is self. It's a set of selfish people. Now, if not, we see pressure is bearing down on him, saying that he may not make a good presidential candidate. Oh shit, buddy. Just step down. Just step away. You want the good for the country or you want the good for yourself alone. Because it sounds like he does not have intention. He just studying himself. Nigel used and now come. He's the same thing. And Nigel is a liar, making a set of money. So them man really care whether we win or lose the election. All them wanna care about is they as I am the leader and I must have something to say and I must do this, I must do that. You see? And I noticed, let me tell you, since Niger take over the AFC, I don't see any problems. I know the coalition couldn't function anymore. You see? Can Niger using them top class banner getting a set of money, so they don't care about nobody. How they give up on a coalition so easily. What about the masses? What about the rest of us? What are they telling us to do? Go and vote for Mohammed or switch to the PVP? Because it's foolishness, these banners there on Kidaki. They're them on bare foolishness, David, and he's talking all the time. Coalition, coalition, coalition. I really admire what y'all doing in the WPA. But AFC, APNU, bare shit these banners there on. Bare shit. I feel happy now. We should step aside. Give Ford a chance. And there's the next thing to AFC, and even one the presidential candidate come from APNU. They're looking at some consensual body from outside the pan. Now we have Ford with the lie by Ford. The shadow attorney general Ford, we name of Ford name. Them is right, but them is people could run this country. Them feel they could do things. But even though Nigeria use them in one, them want somebody from the APNU. They want somebody from outside who did no work to get what they want. But all I'm saying, these banners gotta come together for the betterment of this country. We don't want the PP to be a minority government. We want them to be no government at all. And if we want them out, we gotta bend over backward. We gotta lie down, pump on we belly, up on we back. But get these people out of power. But these two man, they want to get these people out of power. All they want to do is get into power to show, well, President Harvey Norton, President Nigel Hughes. Them is the shit these banners want. Them is studying Guyana. They're studying themselves. Them is studying what the black man passing through. Because them as black man, in passing through, nothing will be passing through. Because they're good. That's all I got to say. I hope my brother can't hope no more. We can't see hope, army hopes dash. Army hopes dash. It's God now with God for. Come and talk to these two people at the top there. Cause it's them two making all difference. Them two. What the percentage? 60, 40, and 70, 30 and all them foolishness. This guy I know you got to think about. So Kidaki me now. I know where we stand in this election. It's just frustrating. You're frustrating all the black people. They're frustrating their supporters. And I know them in K. I see them in K. The only person that I see may have a little care in the AFC is Sherrod Duncan. Sherrod Duncan, everybody else there on a set of shit. If Cathy care, she would talk to his husband and tell he care about the people, not himself and the party. He gotta care about the people. So Cathy could talk to his husband. Because she know what women passing through in this country. It's like he step out back on the party. Because to me the party going better without Nigel use. I tell you that it was better without it. You have too much sense. See, come and corrupting things. Later, Kidaki.
Kidaki, you're coming there again. You see that proposal? I didn't even think about it. The proposal recommendation that you're making, the team that you talking about putting together with David Hines and Harvey Martin, there's one of the best thing I've heard in a long time. That will be grief to my soul. And I pray and hope that Harvey Martin and them take the way. Because let me tell you, David Hines is a man well loved. Well loved. I could tell you he well loved. And with those two at the head of the list, why we can't do no wrong. All the black people vote. And I need the AFC to be taught a lesson. I need them to be taught a lesson because you claiming that you don't feel Nigel Hughes is part of the problem. I feel Nigel Hughes is the whole problem. Me and think he's part. I feel he's the whole problem because he is the leader. The buck stops there. He is the whole problem. He could tell them no. At all costs, we want to get rid of the PPP. So we need to collate. No matter what we get in, how much percent and this and that, we need to collate. You see? Don't look at the thing. I watch. If you're a scholar boxing, right? This by Devin Haney. You know how Devin Haney became the world, the undisputed world, I think was lightweight champion. He was one of the best, undefeated and everything. And when he was to fight by George Kambosos, Kambosos make a lot of demands. Devin Haney had about 3 belts. Kambosos had no. Devin Haney and Kambosos had was the undefeated champion. But he was no good fighter. Devin Haney was the best. Right? You know, Devin Haney had to bend over backward, accept less than what Kambosos get in, and Devin Haney was the best. Everybody recognized Devin Haney as the champion of Kambosos. It's by a fluke Kambosos become the champion. Devin Haney bend over backward and take far less money than George Kambosos Jr. just to become the undisputed lightweight champion. And when he achieved that, then he started calling for money in the rematch. He had to fight the next fight with the man because that was part of the contract. He beat the man again, and from there, Devin Haney start getting all the money. So sometimes you gotta forget the profits. Forget about the profit. Look at the bigger picture, the people that what Nigel Hughes is doing. I blame.
The lines remain open 62259. The lines remain open 6225933 is the number to call you. Tune to the Guyanese morning time. It is now 19 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. Don't be afraid. I'm gonna give you a little extra time this morning because we are having a critical discourse. You're calling or your voice noting. Let me hear you. I'm waiting. Call you on.
Morning, morning, Kudaki, morning. I'm going to call name this morning, right? You're not getting in trouble. And I'm going to say it directly. John Thompson. You like Azradine? Stay over there with Azradine. Don't mudsling and do what PPP like to do. Don't mudsling. You keep saying, are we ugly, are we this, are we this. Man, you like? Which man turn and say that a man is ugly? Which man turn and admire a man like that? Are we don't hold children? Is he a pedophile? Is he a pedophile? John Thompson. Stop your nonsense. If you're rooting for Azradine Mohammed, stay there and root for Azradine Mohammed. At the end of the day, PNC AFC or whoever is still on this other side to defeat the person that you people want to defeat. It's a fight for against Aubrey Norton. You gotta stop your nonsense. Every single day you're running down with CRAP, big fat Solomon like yourself. Stop it. It is not gonna want somebody to send it to him. Let him hear it. Number two, people are saying that Aubrey Norton is unelectable. Well, if Ali is there, the dunce, and he gets elected, what happened with Aubrey Norton? Goat bite him? Did goat bite him? They got the rapists in the party. They got the thieves in the party. Aubrey don't have that on this side. Aubrey was never tested in that manner. Was never tested in that manner. Y'all need to stop the nonsense. And for all of you seed planters coming from way back when in Granger time, that plant a bad seed about that man, and the propaganda live on today, and the seed is forming into a forest. I'm sorry for y'all Negroes. Sorry for using that word, Mr. Kadaki, but I'm sorry for them. I am so sorry for them. Because they continue to strew nonsense that everybody just, no one knows anything about this man deep like that. And you listen to everybody got the same narrative. Bam, bam, bam. Same song they're singing from the same goddamn hymn book. Same hymn book, destroying a black brother. Y'all got to stop it. Why pull down someone for you to get to the top? That is not humanity. But you pulling down a man and you ain't getting no way. Our children gonna suffer if y'all people don't take warning this morning. Our children are gonna suffer. It's time we stop the nonsense and repeating the crap about this big man and fight the real enemy, which is Jagdeo, Ali, Nandalal, and the rest of thieves. The rest of thieves. That is what we have to fight. That's my take.
Thank you for your call. I'm reading the comments and I see Christopher Eastman is raising a concern. I'm sure Christopher Eastman must now be joining us. I'm not familiar with the name. And this is not putting you down, Christopher. Let me show my face when I'm talking. This is not putting you down, but I'm just saying that to say that those who are long-standing members of this platform will know the relationship between Flash Gordon and I. So I sure Flash Gordon know there is no harm in the way I chat with him just now. It was just jovial, light-hearted. Right, Christopher? So don't worry yourself, man. We got a relationship. Call you on.
Hi, good morning. Yes, let me talk about this Aubrey Norton thing. Now, what is the criteria are we using to determine who's the presidential candidate? A lot of people saying Aubrey Norton is not electable, but they're not saying why he's not electable. Nobody's saying why he's not electable, giving tangible reasons why he's not electable. They're just jumping on the bandwagon. Is it the criteria good looks? I mean, he's not the most good-looking guy in the room, but Ali wasn't the brightest bulb in the other room, but he was president. So I don't know why people keep harping about Aubrey Norton. He has stood the test of time. He came since from YSM right through the PNC. When he was sidelined with Granger, he didn't run anywhere. He stayed and took it. When after that, when everybody else had a problem, Royce Dale Ford, where is he now? You know, everybody run away. When Granger lost the election, he disappeared. The other guy from Linden, who was Granger's right-hand man, Harmon, he disappeared. They all disappeared. Aubrey stood the test of time. So people stop getting on this bandwagon and talking about he's not electable. He is very electable. He's very astute in what he's doing. He's a fighter. And I agree with you, along with Dr. Hines, they should be the slate. the top of the slave. I agree with you. We need fighters who could stand up, not people who just want a position and when they don't get it, they disappear from politics. That's not what we want. And people need to judge accordingly, correctly. PNC governed the country for 28 years and PPP for 23 years. Let's determine which was the better. Guaranteed it was 28 years of the PNC. Then you had APU went into power for that 5 years, well, less than 5, but let's call it 5. And they were thrown out in 2020. Now, PPP is in power for the last 5 years. Now it's time to give the opposition a chance, and then you can judge and move forward. Both of them get the 5 years, and if the PPP were better, you can revert to them. If PNC, the opposition is better, you stick. It's simple as that. I don't know why people going through all of this nonsense. You know, we gotta look at things realistically. Stop just following what people saying and all of this nonsense. Aubrey is the man. He stood the test of time. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. We still have voice notes to play, so you know, we have to intermix them. Let me say that.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. You see, with that team you have just picked there, you're going to cause Nigel Hughes, trust me, to call Norton back to the table as soon as possible. You all go for it, man. Bye.
Kadaki, blessings and good morning to you and our listeners. Kadaki, I hope things work out well with you yesterday in the magistrate court. Kadaki, this morning I just want to steer a little bit on black people a little bit. This election, it boiled down to truth over lies, good over evil. Kadaki, I listened a show a few nights ago with Dr. Rose and Vincent Alexander. That man is such a gem. Mr. Alexander is so informed. That man is brilliant. And the PPP fear him. PPP fear Alexander. Alexander is fearless, he's bright, he's brilliant. He knows what he's about. If you check Alexander, don't matter what topic, the post to Alexander, this man spot on. Listen him and this guy who sound like a PPP. Clement Ruhi or some kind of thing like that. And this man is one of them who's saying that GCOM is ready for election. Kadaki, according to the information I am receiving, GCOM could never be ready. Because if all these bacchanal took place in 2020 and 2025, nothing wasn't done to eliminate that, how come they could be ready? You know, it sounds foolish, but anyhow, Kakaraki, you is an educator, and you need to you need to guide them guys out of ignorance. You and Dr. Hines and Vincent lead them guys out of ignorance. My second contribution is about those slave catchers. They say any man who stray from his culture is a slave. That's my contribution this morning.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your contribution. I see people complaining about an echo. Do we still have that echo? I hope it is gone.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, members of the public who are viewing at this point in time and listening in. I am very, very upset as to what is happening in Guyana here with some of our people. Now, here it is. Every time you turn on, if it's not a TV, you're on Facebook. All you're seeing are a set of people who are attacking Mr. Norton, Mr. Norton, Mr. Norton. What is their agenda? What is their agenda? The common enemy is not Mr. Norton. The common enemy is the PPP. I cannot understand, and it's black people like ourselves who are doing these things. And I can call name Otto Martin from that is beyond, Mel, Odessa Primus, and a whole set of them, Rickford Walk to some extent. There's a whole set of them who are just, like they have an agenda they have the people, and so they don't, all they're thinking about is discrediting Mr. Norton. Okay, the AFC is no longer with the APNU. So, okay, go ahead with your people. You already won the AFC. You get Mr. Nigel Hughes and the whole, and your people them. Stay in your corner and work with your party of your choice. Why are you attacking Mr. Norton? No, there it is. I was on Facebook this morning and I saw two Indian guys. I can't remember their names, but they're highlighting, they're saying they're highlighting some of the wrongdoings of the APNU. And guess what? Even though it comes from the PPP, supporting PPP, it's a good idea, because at least they're targeting their main opponent and they're highlighting, in their opinion, what they think are the wrongdoings of the PPP, the APNU. That is what these people should be doing. The common enemy is not Mr. Norton. The common enemy is the PPP and their wrongdoings. Like you said, Mr. Amsterdam, over and over again, we have to get this illegal party, this government out of power. But the people cannot see. They cannot see something is definitely wrong with us, with the black people of Guyana. And every day they're having called live shows and all this. What is Norton and presidential candidate, and that's all they're focusing on. And missing the wider picture. The wider picture is the PPP. I am so frustrated every time you go on Facebook. That's all they're having. Discussion on Mr. Norton. Discussion on Mr. Norton. Right up on Mr. Norton. What is wrong with our people? What is wrong with our people? My God, have mercy on Guyana.
Thank you for that voice note. It is now 4 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. We continue with the Guyanese morning time, and we continue to have the discourses. This morning we're talking about that elephant in the room. What are you on?
Good morning, Brother Kayaki. Good morning to everyone listening public. I'm going to be a little petty here this morning. I'm going to call that lady's name Adriana, because as many times as I've seen her on Dr. Hines' show, she has never acknowledged him, Dr. Hines of the WPA. And that shit pisses me off every time, because she knows what she's doing. Every time she mentions his Nigel Hughes, she will mention his party AFC. If she's to say something about Mr. Norton, she says PNC. But every time she addressed Dr. Hines, your party, your party. His party is the WPA. Say it. That's the problem. Too many of you so-called educated people, you ain't got no wisdom in you. Every single time she does that. And it just pisses me off. But I know Dr. Hines is a humble man. He doesn't even trip over it. But I find her to be a hater of the WPA, in all honesty. And she's just using Dr. Hines' platform to be on, I don't know, in front of the national audience or what have you. But she's disrespectful. Yes, Adriana, you. His party is the WPA. So next time he invites you on, say, Dr. Hines, your party, the WPA. Not just your party. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. I have asked, and I'm asking again, is the echo still there? Because, of course, if the echo is bad, then it doesn't make sense us continue with those echoes. Call you on. Good morning. Caller, you're on. Good morning.
Yes, good morning again. I could not wait until Friday because of the program is my DNA. You know, I could not sit back and listen how my black brother and sister representing my leader, Abi Laden. So we got to say, no. I got to go on, man. Enough is enough. My black brother and sister, let me remind you guys. Abi Laden is the only one that mentioned after Bonham died that he will take out black people out of poverty. Abi Laden is the only one answer my question, Flash Garden question. For this program, when I put a question to him, I said, would you protect my mother 25 vote? What she asked for you /WPA? He said, short and spicy, I will protect all vote. As a wise politician, David Granger was a smart politician. That's why we are punishing him. David Granger started out good, but he failed to the end. He stopped and he looked back. And when he stopped and he looked back, that is where he finds himself starting problem. I mentioned yesterday, I said today, I will talk about these 5 people them in America and England, what destroying a black brother that who stay and represent them family, because some of them get brother and sister home there too. You see, Rickford Borg, Mark, Mel, John Thompson, these are black now, not Indians, black. And born in America, all of them destroying the coalition. All of them is involved and must blame for not having a coalition for start the fight yet. All of them was given Abi Laden basket to fetch water, but I tell them plain, God said before the next election, he will spit all of them. Tell them Flash Garden, he will spit all of them out. That make all of them in trouble. Mel end up in prison, lock up. You see John Thompson? I talk about this, he endorsed Mohammed, a criminal. But the thing is that out in Flash Garden, 2006, when I went to my vote, my friend, my female friend, she asked a friend, a policeman, she said, okay, next week election, would you vote for change? He said, hell no, he rather suffer under his father Ann than his uncle Ann. His father is PPP, his uncle is PNC. Why the hell black man cannot have the same mentality? Me rather suffer under my father and PNC/WPA. It is time for we get it right and stop our nonsense. And like the brother said, what is them gender? What they put out there? When I mention it, nobody talk about it. You see, with football, it's only me and God and the devil know what coming to them 5. Rickford Board come out and tell black man plain, are you vote for Niger Hughes and AFC? Because they got vision for Guyana. And it show WPA under the boss and members, PNC leader and members and the boss. And these are the guys, because they're making money from black people punishment in Guyana. All 5 of them name. And today, it's them causing black man to be punished. Last, before we go, him, Rickford Board, he invite a lot of Guyanese to go and sit down in front of Congressman Henry. I forget his last name. Because we don't pay him, you can don't mind because why? He disrespect black people. And black man, I don't vote for even is it time for vote. Because Barbados ain't got no problem. And and he accept one invitation from Barbados for go and celebrate Barbados anniversary. And that man, that congressman, not get the identity for fly over, take 45 minutes from Barbados to Guyana, come and sit down with we that got problem home. Not one day come up this day, and he got power that when he pick up his phone and he call vice president, ex-vice president, and ex-president said, look, Guyana, black people in dangerous, they need help. He never do it. I will leave the rest for Friday. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your call. I see persons are telling me that the echo came back with Flash's call because Flash must have been listening to himself on another device. You have to be careful with that. That's all I can say to you. Good. Collie on, good morning.
Good morning to one and all.
Collie, you are on, good morning.
Yeah, could I speak? Hello?
Collie, you are on, good morning.
Okay, thank you, yes. You know, over the month,
but let's see.
And maybe over a year. Could you hear me, sir?
Might be my fault.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead, Carlo.
Yes, we were talking. We over the months and maybe over years actually. People have been talking about electability in regards to Mr. Norton. The thing is that first of all, with the last local government elections, we see most of the other political parties they actually refuse to contend those elections, including the WPA. And Mr. Norton bravely went ahead and contended the election and saved a few constituencies. So that shows that he is electable. And also to elaborate a little bit more on that, I think there's an elephant in the closet here. I listened to Dr. Hines' show last night, and he was explaining he explained a couple of types of black classes of black folks. So and he explained that the mostly the social class were the educated or the rich ones, and that was like the differentiation within the black community. But I think, and I agree with him, of course, but I think he might have left out something. There's an elephant in the closet there, and when I said I don't want to challenge his argument in no way, because God knows I don't even have a fraction of his intellectual capability or social capability. So I wouldn't want to. I don't want to doubt him. But all I'm saying is that I think that that my experience growing up in Guyana is that those not only the two classes of black people in Guyana. It's also the color class, and I think that's the elephant in the closet, because I've experienced black people like me that have lighter skin and a little bit of wave in the hair, and they look down on black people like me, and they even call us bad names, crazy names that other races would call us. So I think that is one of the reasons why people are looking on the outside and saying Mr. Norton is not electable. It's because he's black like me, and we as black people, we need to get rid of that crap, shake it off, right? And because wherever we go, any other part of the world, no matter how light you might be in complexion, if you hear wavy and they think you're not white, you're black. They're tired. Simple as that. They're just like me. So we need to get a grip of ourselves and start united. We need to be united, like they're trying to do in Africa right now. Thank you. That's my time.
Thank you for your call. Rose, I see you. Thank you. Yes, we still have voice notes to play. It is 7 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, so as they say, if you will hold your horses for me, I'll be quite happy. Allow me to play those voice notes. Yes, allow me to play those voice notes. There's so many. We got one.
Good morning, Kadakian viewers. What I would like the people to know is not that people are attacking Mr. Norton. We were expecting to see what we saw in the early 90s, you know. Desmond Height was the man for the man. Desmond Height was out. He was involved and stuff like that. We expected the same thing from Mr. Norton. We love Mr. Norton. We admire him. We admire his interviews, the way he speaks, the way he carries himself most of the time. People love Mr. Norton. We just expect him would have been out there doing his actual work. And people have the right to talk when they're not seeing that type of involvement. So we quick to say people is attacking. As soon as people make an assertion about something, it becomes an attack. Not everything is an attack. We just expect to see leadership, and that's what we're not seeing, and that's how come people start talking about Mr. Norton. Other than that, trust me, we love Mr. Norton. I know when there's an interview and Mr. Norton have to speak, I am up close and personal, and I know a lot of other young people are the same way. We just want to see action. Thank you.
Thank you for your voice note.
Mr. Kadaki, your foundation that you lay out there this morning with Mr. Hines, Norton, Verita, and the other guy. Now, I think that is a good foundation. But I don't think we should look back at Azadine. Azadine have his own drum beating and dancing. The young people is who comes out for Azadine. You see how they just flood the road for Azadine. They flood the streets for Azadine. People and the party right now have to study the big people. Like when they hear Ali coming, they flood out the auditorium, the Buxton people, the Friendship people, the Sophia people, all the Black people villages. As they hear Ali or Jagio coming, they flood out. Don't worry with Azadine people. Azadine people is the young people. Like Azadine, we don't care about nothing. The foundation could lay down how much. They gotta make up their mind. You gotta leave them for make up their mind. Them and looking at APNU, AFC, they're looking at Mohammed. They're looking at Mohammed. They're looking at what Mohammed did and doing. So I don't think people should look back at Mohammed. Let me look forward at what the two party is doing. WPA, APNU. Don't even worry with Nigel Hughes. Nigel Hughes is taking your advice from Kedraj Ramjatan, and since Kedraj Ramjatan days with Mr. With the last prime minister, with the past president, he was for that Granger. He was for Granger all the way. He never liked, as far as it's concerned, he never liked Norton. He never liked Norton. So don't worry, Kemraj. Let he lead the party. He and Nigel. Nigel is surprised people because he looking for how much vote they're bringing in. Wait and see how much vote they're bringing in, and then place them. And if when they make the decision by time election time, don't collate with them no more. Let them go up on their own. Don't worry with them.
Morning, Brother Kidaki. Good morning, Honorable Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines, big up yourself and your programs. I like how you sent it out to us last night as African brothers and sisters in this country. I like how you said what you said. You understand me? And thank the Almighty for you, Dr. Hines. For you that speak out so much for African people for the past couple of months. You understand me, Dr. Hines? Dr. Hines, big up yourself, the WPA and the PNC, all the way. Mr. Compton Orby Norton went here alone at local government election and he made it. So I want to know why people so unscrupulous, why people so wicked. You understand me, to Mr. Norton? Mr. Norton is the most qualified man they have right now to be the opposition presidential candidate. Come on, guys, people don't let me be fooled, man. If you have a personal issue with Mr. Norton, you can't find some other avenue or some ways for dealt with it. This is Mr. Abiy Norton is bigger than the party right now. You understand? We got to put the parties first if you want to get rid of this backward and thieving and racial government. You understand me? That's what we got to do, guys. These people, man. Let me stop with nonsense, man. Go along and telling you about this thing, man. The man is the man. There's the man of the moment. That is the man. And like how Honorable Dr. Hines show it out last night. I like how we show it out. Come on, bro. We got to rally around the brother. The brother never get a chance for run this country. Come on, man. The chance we was to get Granger come and steal it just out of the blues. You understand me? Come on, bro. I know Nigel Hughes want done the same thing, Mr. Nigel Hughes. You're a papi show, buddy. You're a brilliant liar, but you make every Guyanese that was looking up at you. You make our hand fall, buddy. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Oh, you can get 30% of the vote. It's 30 you're gonna get. That's what we can give to you. You don't deserve it. We will give that to you. The 10% for the other small parties and the 60 is from Mr. Norton and the PNCR. Come on, bro. And oh, you want to be the president candidate with 30% of the vote. What kind of backward this is that, man? Mr. Niger, the second time the mathematics is matching with you, you know, Mr. Hughes. The mathematics is matching a child with you, you know. You got to go back to the drawing board. You and Ramjatan and Rachel Chatman. It's the two person I guarantee that pushing you for this embarrassment that you're embarrassing yourself. Anyhow, the ERC and the ERC. Now, the ERC was placed there to jail black people, and you gone to that big forum for represent black people. Come on, man, y'all in shame of yourself. Why y'all can't talk about guys but black people? Y'all jailing black people. Y'all placed there by the Insta government to jail and crucify black people. And y'all want to go there to represent black people. This man Paul Orijo, he should be ashamed of himself. What's that video was spreading around on social media concerning the office? He says it's not he. It's a black woman he was abusing in there. These people are abused to us and want to represent us. They should never ever be fair, man. Come on, man. And I'm big up to Mr. Vincent Alexander for embarrassing them. You understand me? I'm big up to the African nation that was there to represent African people. I like the round of applause that they give to Mr. Vincent Alexander when he finished his speech. You understand me? Big up to Mr. Vincent Alexander, Honorable Vincent Alexander. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. These people are failing us, and the people be sending them that for that Polarijo for try to embarrass black people, but he embarrassing himself. The people don't have no interest in black people in the PPP party. So all running there, the man putting them for embarrass because they were the same we should be on platform embarrassing the PPP. So the PPP using them as a political gimmicks, as a puppy show, so to speak. They should the PPP doing to this jackass of black people where you see running over to them. But this man Polarijo. But this man destroy Minister of Labor. They show them advantage black people. What we do in the office is a black woman. You want another to.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and viewers. In all of this, I believe Mr. Norton need a chance. We supposed to throw our support behind him. Nigel Lewis was saying all along that he was talking with other small parties when he wasn't engaging with PNC. The reason why, because he wanted a small party to run with him and he would be the presidential candidate. If you are fighting for presidential candidate, right, and pushing out Norton, what are you saying? That you're better than Norton. But you're not telling us what you're going to do for us. It's about you. And all I'm seeing is pure selfishness. They're not thinking about the poor people. He's not thinking about the poor people because he am coming out in village and reach people. He's not doing no outreach and talking to the people. And even if he's talking to the people, my preference is Mr. Norton. What happened to Dr. Hines? He calling a man who even die in no party. Why you can't call Dr. Hines? Dr. Hines is a powerful man. Dr. Hines is an educated man. He wants so much for himself. So what Norton going to give to PNC, to WPA and other parties? Oh God, they're not thinking about us. It is selfishness. And if we and wake up, get up and see that the AFC is selfish and not thinking about us poor people, when they get in there, cat it out with dinner.
Morning, Peter, and your listeners. One of the reasons why I like listening to you is think exactly my thoughts. PFC is in no position to negotiate nothing. They have to be lucky that they were trusted enough to be on board. All the downfall of the previous government was through FC. FC should come together and cooperate and relax itself with the nonsense. And the bottom line is to show that you're really serious about getting Guyanese and getting Guyana better. You should come together and put aside all your differences and collate and get the PPP out. Then you argue about who will lead what and what. Wait once is this here.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. You know, it's a blessing in disguise that the AFC don't want to join with the PNC. From the time Mr. Hughes became the leader of the party, you could see a lot of shift. And if Sherrod was the leader of the AFC, I believe he would have already joined with the PNC. Guyanese, listen to me. You have to vote the PPP out from government, whether the AFC come on board or not. And a lot of AFC members should not vote for the AFC, switch and vote for the PNC and the APNU, because if you don't collate, the PPP is going to go back in there, and African Guyanese especially is going to continue suffering, and the police is going to continue murdering, gunning down young African Guyanese men in the street, and there will be no justice. Wake up, African people. All you wake up in Guyana. Y'all wake up. All you see the corruption that is going on. Contracts, African Guyanese not getting contracts. African Guyanese not getting contracts. And Marco Rubio, they put out that the PPP corrupt. So the ball is in your court. Y'all play the game and play it right. Let AFC go if they don't want to collate. It's a shame and a disgrace. I'll wake up, people. I'll wake up. That is my take for today.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I don't know. Some people, leaders in the opposition, I don't know if they're thinking about the constituents or they're thinking about themselves. United we stand, divided we shall surely fall. The PPP laughing in their corner to see how some of the folks in the opposition pulling down each other. Think about the people. Don't think about your selfish needs and power. Why can they collate? When they go, Guyana don't have a law that when after the election, the person with the highest vote will collate with another party. Guyana constitution needs to be changed. Why not get together? Unity is strength. And don't be so divided. So be so divided. We in the diaspora, we're not feeling it as much as the people that lives in Guyana. So the people in Guyana got to come together and don't listen to some of these divisive folks in the diaspora. Come on, think about your people, not about power and your selfish needs.
Morning. If Mohammed or Ajadine didn't come out and helping people or giving people things, nobody gonna call it name. So when you look at them, they're just looking because they could get something, right? But they ain't looking at the bigger picture. They're just looking for things for today and tomorrow. They ain't looking for things next 10 and 20 years from now. What gonna happen? It's just because the guy building house, people come out with a problem and he help them. That's why everybody running Ajadine or wherever. Lady stay in his shell and he named them calling.
Thank you for those voice notes. It is now 24 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. You are still tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am still your host, and it is time for me to go. It has been a good session. I thoroughly enjoy your contributions. I thoroughly respect your contributions. Let the conversations continue. Continue to share the live, like I say. Continue to invite others to join the platform. Continue to make your contributions financially and otherwise so that we can keep this going. Have a good day. Much love. Be safe. I hope I played all the voice notes. Sometimes some of them escape my sight. But I think I got all of them this morning. I hope so. And I hope you're satisfied with your host. Goodbye. Have a great day. Tomorrow it's Winston Jordan on the program. Somebody is calling. All right, let's take this final one and see what they have to say. Final call for the day. Oh, the person hung up. So that's it. That's it for the day. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.